Welcome back to Auto Car Review, the channel where we go deep into the latest and greatest vehicles, revisiting classics reborn for a new generation. And today we're diving into something that's been creating a huge buzz in the automotive world. We are talking about the 2026 Plymouth GTX. That's right, one of the most iconic muscle cars of the late 1960s and early 1970s is back, reinvented for the modern era. And this isn't just a half-hearted revival or a nostalgia cash grab. It's a car that blends heritage, performance, and cutting-edge technology into a package that's going to make both old-school enthusiasts and modern car buyers stop and pay attention. So sit tight, because in this review we're going to cover everything from design to performance, from interior tech to the way it connects to the legacy of the original GTX, and why this car might just be one of the most exciting American muscle rebirths of this decade. The Plymouth GTX was first introduced in 1967 as a gentleman's muscle car, meaning it wasn't just about raw power but also style and comfort. It combined the brute force of big block V8s with a more refined interior and an upscale feel compared to some of its moper cousins. Over the years, the GTX became a legend, a car that muscle car fans still talk about with reverence. Fast forward to 2026, and Stellantis, the parent company behind Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, decided that the time was right to bring Plymouth back in a limited capacity, and what better way to reintroduce the brand than by reviving the GTX. This isn't just a badge slapped on a Dodge Challenger. This is a car with its own identity, its own design language, and its own purpose. Let's start with the design. The 2026 Plymouth GTX manages to walk that incredibly fine line between retro inspiration and modern execution. The front end is unmistakably a nod to the late 1960s models, with a wide, aggressive grille framed by LED headlights that recall the circular lamps of the classic era, but in a sleek, futuristic interpretation. The hood features subtle scoops that are functional, channeling air to the performance powertrains beneath, while the overall stance is muscular yet sophisticated. The body is sculpted with sharp lines but avoids the overly angular look that some modern performance cars go for. Instead, it feels like a natural evolution of the muscle car DNA: wide rear haunches, a fastback-style roofline, and taillights that stretch across the rear with a distinctive LED signature make it instantly recognizable. And true to Plymouth tradition, it doesn't shy away from bold colors. Expect to see it in shades like electric plum, high voltage, orange, deep Atlantic blue, and of course the classic metallic silvers and blacks. The wheel designs range from retro-styled 5 spokes to futuristic forged alloys, depending on the trim. Now, under the hood is where things get really interesting. The 2026 GTX is offered with a range of powertrains that reflect the transitional nature of today's car market. At the entry point, you have a twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-6, part of the Stellantis Hurricane engine family, tuned to produce around 500 horsepower. This engine is designed to give strong performance while meeting modern emissions standards. And it's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission that delivers quick, precise shifts. Step up a level, and you get the real muscle car experience with a supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi V8 that makes an eye-popping 720 horsepower. This engine option is what most purists will gravitate toward because it keeps the soul of the muscle car alive with raw displacement, thunderous sound, and massive acceleration. And for the new age, Plymouth also offers an all-electric GTX variant. This EV version uses dual motors with all-wheel drive and delivers over 850 horsepower and nearly instant torque, rocketing the car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds. So whether you're a traditionalist, a modern performance enthusiast, or someone who wants the cutting edge of EV performance, the 2026 GTX gives you a choice. Driving dynamics have been engineered to make the GTX more than just a straight-line bruiser. It rides on a new modular performance chassis developed with adaptive dampers, electronic limited slip differentials, and rear-wheel steering on higher trims. This means the car can carve corners in a way that old muscle cars never could. Yet, it still maintains that straight-line dominance the GTX was always known for. In the V8 model, expect quarter-mile times in the low 11s, and with the AVVV looking at high 10s with the right conditions. The inline-6 version provides a more balanced daily driver performance with plenty of power on tap, but better efficiency and lower cost. All versions come with selectable drive modes, from eco to sport to track, adjusting throttle response, suspension stiffness, and steering feel. Inside, the 2026 GTX combines modern luxury with nods to its retro heritage. Open the door, and you're greeted with a driver-focused cockpit. The dashboard has a horizontal theme that recalls the original GTX layout, but it's integrated with digital displays and touchscreens in a way that feels futuristic without losing character. A 14-inch central touchscreen handles infotainment, with Stellantis' latest Uconnect 6 system, offering wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, augmented reality navigation, and customizable performance gauges. There's also a fully digital 12.3-inch driver display that can switch between classic, analog-style dials or futuristic performance layouts. The seats are heavily bolstered but comfortable, available in leather, Alcantara, or even retro plaid fabric for those who want to honor the 70s vibe. Ambient lighting, a premium Harman Kardon audio system, and available carbon fiber trim complete the picture. It's a car you can daily drive without compromise, but also one that feels special every time you sit in it. In terms of practicality, the GTX offers a decent trunk space thanks to its fastback design, and the rear seats are usable for shorter trips. Unlike some pure sports cars, it maintains that grand touring spirit, making it viable for weekend road trips or even as a fun daily driver if you don't mind turning heads everywhere you go. Technology and safety haven't been forgotten either. The 2026 Plymouth GTX comes with advanced driver assistance features including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and automated emergency braking. On the higher trims, you also get semi-autonomous highway driving capability, making long journeys less tiring. The EV model takes it further with advanced regenerative braking and one-pedal driving modes. Over-the-air updates ensure the software stays fresh and capable for years to come, but let's talk about the emotional connection here, because that's what really makes the GTX special. For decades, Plymouth as a brand has been absent from showrooms, a name relegated to history books and enthusiast gatherings. To bring it back in 2026 is not just about selling cars, it's about reigniting a legacy. The GTX was always a symbol of refined American muscle, and this new version honors that. The design cues, the available V8, even the color palette all speak to the heritage. But at the same time, it doesn't live in the past. It embraces hybrid and electric performance, cutting-edge technology, and global-level chassis dynamics. It's not stuck trying to be a 1970 GTX all over again. Instead, it's what a GTX would naturally become if it had evolved continuously through the decades. Pricing starts around $65,000 for the inline-six model, which makes it competitive with cars like the Ford Mustang, Dark Horse, and Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 successor. The V8 model climbs to around $85,000, putting it in the territory of high-performance muscle and even challenging some European sports coupes. The EV, with its advanced powertrain, tops the range at roughly $95,000, but considering the level of performance and technology it offers, it still feels like a bargain compared to similarly quick electric performance cars from Europe. Production is said to be limited, which means exclusivity will be part of the appeal. Don't expect to see one on every corner, and that rarity is going to make it even more desirable to collectors and enthusiasts. If you've been waiting for a car that combines nostalgia with innovation, this is it. The 2026 Plymouth GTX isn't just a revival, it's a rebirth. And it might just be one of the most important muscle cars of the 21st century. This has been Autocar Review. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2026 Plymouth GTX, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more reviews of the latest cars and future legends, and leave a comment below telling us which version of the GTX you'd pick, the inline-6, the roaring V8, or the cutting-edge EV. Until next time, drive safe and keep the passion alive.